All right, let's just dive right in, shall we? Welcome to today's explainer, where we are going to do a digital unboxing of a very specific, incredibly pragmatic business tool. If you've been tasked with building up or smoothing out a sales team, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're taking a close look at the Bizmanualz Sales Training Procedure Manual, specifically product AD1050. We're going to break down exactly what is inside this document, how it works, and why it is perfectly designed to just completely streamline your entire training operation. So let's get started. So, here is the absolute million-dollar question for any busy sales manager, executive, or HR coordinator. How exactly do you build a comprehensive sales training program without starting from a totally blank page? Let's be real, we all know the pain here. You know you need to standardize your training, you know you need everyone performing at a high level, but who actually has the bandwidth to sit down and write a complete procedural training program entirely from scratch? You just end up staring at that blinking cursor on a blank Word document, and honestly, that is one of the most dreadful sights when you already have 100 other urgent tasks on your plate. It's a massive, massive roadblock to scaling your sales force. Well, the direct answer to that massive headache is the Bizmanualz Sales Training Procedure, product code AD1050. What you're getting here is a ready-to-use step-by-step guide that's designed explicitly for businesses of all sizes to just instantly equip their teams. Rather than constantly guessing at what should actually be in a corporate training policy, this product gives you a pre-built framework to get your team completely ready for today's hyper-competitive market. Really, it's all about completely bypassing that initial creation phase and jumping straight into execution. And what's really cool here is the actual tangible weight of what you're getting. I mean, we are not talking about some flimsy one-page checklist here. The 8050 manual is a seriously comprehensive document, coming in at 18 pages and exactly 1,540 words. It is carefully structured, deeply detailed, and provides a whole set of ready-to-deploy guidelines. If you think about it, that word count represents hours upon hours of drafting, editing, and formatting that you simply do not have to do anymore. It's essentially institutional knowledge, boxed up, and totally ready for download. So how does it actually work? Well, the manual builds this core procedural framework by organizing your entire training lifecycle into 4 very distinct actionable steps. First up, you have the sales training plan, which is identifying exactly what needs to be taught. Second, the actual sales training, executing the instruction. Third is monitoring sales training, so actively tracking the progress of your team. And finally, fourth, improving sales training, which creates a crucial feedback loop to make your whole program better over time. It is a complete life cycle. It ensures you aren't just kind of throwing information at new hires, but you're actually managing a successful, repeatable sales engine. But a plan is only as good as its execution, right? And that brings us to the forms. The 80-1050 package absolutely does not leave you hanging when it comes to the day-to-day administration. Included right in the manual are specific ready-made forms. You get the sales competency matrix form, that's 8050-1, to track the specific skills across your team. You get the individual sales training record form, 80-1052, to document exactly what each rep has completed. And of course, you get the actual sales training plan template itself, which is 80-1053. These forms bring the procedures to life and literally instantly solve those administrative headaches of trying to track who knows what and who has been trained on what. Another really fantastic feature here is how it bakes in accountability right from the jump by clearly defining job descriptions and roles. According to the document, the sales manager is explicitly responsible for creating and implementing the training plan, as well as maintaining those matrix and record forms we were just talking about. Top management, well, their role is to approve that overall sales training plan. And naturally, all sales personnel are required to actively participate as specified. By laying all of this out in black and white, the manual completely eliminates that classic corporate confusion over who is actually driving the initiative. Of course, all this structure doesn't mean much if the actual training content falls flat, right? Well, this manual helps you instill essential, highly specific skills in your sales professionals. It covers the absolute core foundations every successful rep needs. We're talking prospecting to find the right targets, lead generation to keep that pipeline full, delivering genuinely effective sales presentations, and, of course, mastering those closing techniques. The manual ensures that your training program leaves absolutely no stone unturned when it comes to teaching your reps how to identify leads, build real rapport, and successfully close those deals. Now, I want to take a second to highlight the sheer depth and precision of this document. It establishes standardized definitions so that your entire company is speaking exactly the same language. For example, the manual specifically defines competency as, quote, the quality of being adequately or well qualified physically and intellectually to perform particular tasks. It also defines terms like training and skill with that exact same level of precision. And why does this actually matter? Because when your HR department, your sales managers, and your executive team are all operating from the exact same definitions, miscommunication plummets and your organizational alignment just skyrockets. But it actually goes even further than that. This manual connects those standard operating procedures directly to your broader business goals. As the source material points out, if you want conflict, try to do everything at once. Instead, this manual helps you establish vital sales system pieces. It guides you in building a unified sales culture that actively steers growth and builds long-term asset value. It emphasizes a consistent marketing message that validates the conversations your team is having out there every single day. And it highlights the strategic role of lead generation through the internet, opening doors so that you, the executive, can spend your highly valuable time closing deals rather than endlessly prospecting for them. And honestly, this brings us to the ultimate value proposition here. Let's think about the old way of doing things. It involves wasting hours and hours drafting, fighting with formatting margins, and simply guessing at what a standard policy should even look like. The Bizmanualz way is just completely different. This product is an instant download, and it's delivered as fully editable, customizable Microsoft Word templates. You download it, you open it up in Word, you tailor it to your specific company's name and unique nuances, and boom, you're done. The relief of bypassing that blank page is just immense. So what is the actual cost to save all those hours of executive time? It is literally just $49.99. That is the highly accessible price point for the 80/50 manual. When you actually stop and think about the hourly rate of a sales manager or a CEO who would otherwise have to sit there and draft an 18-page, 1,540-word procedural document, plus create 3 distinct tracking forms from scratch, I mean, the return on investment here is just absolutely off the charts. It is a wildly comprehensive toolkit available for a tiny fraction of the cost of developing it internally. And hey, if you're still wondering about the risk factor, Bizmanualz actually backs this whole thing with a 30-day money-back guarantee, which, let's face it, makes downloading this corporate asset a completely risk-free decision. You can download those MS Word files, review the procedures yourself, check out the competency matrix forms, and make totally sure it fits your organizational needs without any financial anxiety whatsoever. Which brings us to our final takeaway today. As the manual's product page plainly states, get your copy of the Sales Training Procedure template Word today and start training your sales team for success. Listen, if you are genuinely serious about building a high-performing sales culture, you have got to stop wasting time on administrative drafting and start focusing on what matters, coaching and closing. The AD 1050 gives you the exact ready-made framework to do just that. So I'll leave you with this final thought. How much further ahead would your sales team be right now if your training procedures had been fully documented and standardized a year ago? Grab the template and start building. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.